I didn't plan to meet my ex that day. It just happened. It was our anniversary, sure, but my boyfriend had been distant for weeks. No flowers, no reservations, just silence. So when my ex messaged me, saying he still thought about me, I said yes to one coffee. One. I didn't cheat. I didn't even kiss him. But my boyfriend, he found out and booked a luxury suite for himself and my boss's assistant. It wasn't to date. That was the absolute fundamental truth I hammered into my own mind. Every single day, every single hour. The phrase echoed relentlessly. Internally, it was the crucial point, the linchpin of my entire justification, the central pillar supporting the flimsy structure of my questionable choices. I felt an urgent, desperate need to genuinely believe that, with every fiber of my being. I was so utterly convinced of its truth. My purpose, I told myself, was singular. It was pure. I only met my ex for closure. It just so happened to be a profoundly significant day. A day etched into our shared history. Our 3-year anniversary. My current boyfriend Mark's and mine. The date was clearly marked, bright and undeniable. A vivid marker of our journey together. Yet, this particular meeting, this secret rendezvous with a ghost from the past, it felt inexplicably compelling, absolutely necessary. I somehow managed to persuade myself, through an intricate tapestry of flawed logic, that I simply needed this. I needed to know, with an unshakable certainty, that I had truly, unequivocally moved on, that I was completely, definitively, irrevocably over my past relationship, over Alex, over everything we had once shared, every single memory. I honestly didn't think Mark, my kind, trusting boyfriend, would ever, in a million years, find out. How could he possibly? I had planned it meticulously, every detail considered for discretion. It was to be a quick, discreet, entirely private meeting, a secret kept only between Alex and me, tucked away from prying eyes, hidden from the world. Even if he did, I reasoned, what was the real harm? What was the big deal, truly? It wasn't cheating, not by any definition that mattered to me. No physical contact, no romantic words exchanged. We were just talking, just catching up, reminiscing about old times. Right. It felt like such a small, insignificant step outside the established boundaries of our relationship. A tiny, easily excused deviation from the norm. A minor transgression that, in my mind, wouldn't actually inflict any lasting hurt on anyone, especially not Mark. His gentle nature seemed to guarantee his understanding, or at least his acceptance. I desperately needed to clear my head, to sweep away the lingering cobwebs of the past, to put that old chapter completely behind me. My ex Alex and I had a long, intricate history. Years of shared moments, both joyful and painful. It felt like a lifetime sometimes. Decades of memories intertwined, woven into the very fabric of my being. Our breakup, all those months ago, had been incredibly difficult. Raw and deeply painful. Even after a solid year with Mark, a year filled with comfort, security, and consistent affection, sometimes lingering doubts would surface. Small, quiet questions. They would whisper insidiously in the back of my mind. Little what-if scenarios. They were unsettling, disruptive. They nibbled relentlessly at my peace. A constant, subtle erosion. This meeting, I convinced myself, was meant to be the absolute final chapter, the definitive ending, a profound and necessary way to put a firm, unyielding period on that old book of our past, to make absolutely, unequivocally sure there were no lingering feelings whatsoever, no unresolved emotions, no unfinished business that could possibly cling to me, no loose threads that could unravel my new happiness, just a clean, sharp break, a surgical severance. Only then, I believed, truly believed, could I fully and completely embrace my present and my future. With my wonderful boyfriend Mark, I truly believed this was the honest truth. It was the intricate, comforting story I felt compelled to tell myself, the narrative that allowed me to justify my actions, no matter how questionable. Our relationship had been going on for just over a year. A good, solid year. It felt comfortable, settled, predictable. There was a pleasant rhythm to our days. He was a genuinely good man, steady, kind, and always, always supportive. His presence was a quiet anchor in my life. We'd met quite casually, through mutual friends, at a low-key bar downtown. Not a dramatic beginning, just a simple, organic connection. Things had moved smoothly between us, progressing naturally. No big fights, no major drama. Our journey together felt calm, uncomplicated. He was constantly attentive, quick to notice if I needed something, before I even had to ask. Always offering to help, whether it was a small task or a big project. He genuinely cared about my well-being. It was clear in every gesture, every thoughtful word. His job in finance was demanding. He often worked very long hours. Late nights were common. My own job, in marketing, also required a lot of my time. So our free time together was precious, a rare commodity. We usually spent it unwinding, quiet dinners at home, or watching movies on the couch, sometimes just sitting together in comfortable silence, enjoying each other's quiet presence. He consistently brought me thoughtful little gifts. Not extravagant, but always chosen with care. A new book by an author I liked, a rare blend of coffee from a small, independent shop, a soft, warm scarf when the colder weather arrived. These small gestures, regular and consistent, made me feel valued, important, cherished. They were little, tangible signs of his constant consideration, his unwavering affection. I tried to give back, in my own ways. I made sure to remember his favorite meals, his favorite snacks. I carefully planned weekend getaways that I knew he'd enjoy, researching hidden gems and quiet retreats. I was always there to listen when he had a particularly tough day at the office, offering comfort and support. I believed our bond was strong, built on shared experiences, mutual respect, a deep understanding of each other's personalities. At least, that's what I thought. That's what I allowed myself to believe. He knew I had a preference for quality, for things that possessed an intrinsic value, or showed careful craftsmanship. I truly wasn't a material girl, driven by simple greed. Or so I constantly told myself. I just appreciated the aesthetics, the effort put into well-made items, the finer things in life. I thought he understood this about me, that it was simply part of who I was, a minor personal trait, a small quirk in my personality, one that he accepted, if not fully shared. That's precisely why the whole scrapbook incident felt so off, so completely out of sync with what I thought he knew about my preferences. I told myself it wasn't about the money. Not really. It was about the kind of gift, the thought behind it. It was just so completely wrong for me. It was a complete misjudgment on his part. Or so I believed. It was our 3-year anniversary, a truly momentous day for us, a significant milestone in the journey of our relationship, a point where we should have been celebrating our growth and future together. My boyfriend Mark had gone all out. His efforts were undeniable. He'd planned a fantastic, elaborate surprise dinner. He'd made reservations weeks in advance, at this incredibly fancy restaurant downtown, the kind with crisp white tablecloths, gleaming silverware, and hushed whispers from polite diners, a place of quiet elegance and exquisite cuisine. He'd even arranged for a magnificent bouquet of beautiful, long-stemmed red roses to be delivered to my office earlier that very day. They sat proudly on my desk, a vibrant, fragrant reminder of his unwavering love, his enduring thoughtfulness. They filled my workspace with their sweet, heavy scent, a stark contrast to my internal conflict. He had talked about it with such unbridled excitement for days leading up to it. His elaborate plans for our special evening. He wanted it to be absolutely perfect, every single detail considered, every moment etched into memory. He was always so thoughtful, so incredibly eager to make me happy. He genuinely deserved all my love, all my undivided attention, all my honesty. His sincerity was undeniable, a deep, quiet wellspring of genuine affection that I was about to betray. But I had other plans, secret plans, plans I kept meticulously hidden from him, plans that simmered beneath the surface of my polite agreement. When he called that afternoon, his voice bubbling with eager anticipation for our evening, I had to come up with a convincing excuse, a believable reason to cancel. I told him, with a manufactured sigh, that I was too tired after work. I infused my voice with a weary exhaustion I didn't truly feel. My performance was convincing. I said, I just wanted a quiet night in. Maybe we could just order takeout, I suggested casually. Watch a movie on the couch. He sounded a little disappointed. I could hear it clearly, in the slight drop of his tone. But he understood. He always did. He consistently put my comfort and my desires first. My needs always seemed to outweigh his own. A habit I had grown accustomed to, a luxury I took for granted. In reality, I had secretly arranged to meet my ex, Alex. We weren't just going for coffee either. The initial plan had subtly shifted. It had evolved. Alex had suggested drinks instead. A trendy, buzzing rooftop bar he knew downtown. The kind of place with a vibrant atmosphere. Chic decor and expansive city views. It sounded much more exciting than a quiet coffee shop. More adventurous, more thrilling. A quick drink, I rationalized to myself, clutching at the thin thread of my self-deception. Just one. For old time's sake, it would be brief. That's what I promised myself, and it would provide the final, definitive closure I so desperately craved. The last piece of a puzzle I believed needed solving for my own peace of mind. The bar was incredibly lively. A low hum of conversation mingled with the pulsed beat of modern music. The air was cool against my skin as we stepped onto the rooftop. The city lights glittered below us, a vast, sparkling tapestry stretching endlessly into the night. Alex and I found a small, intimate table by the edge, offering a panoramic view. We talked easily. The conversation flowed effortlessly. We reminisced about old times, about shared laughter and past adventures. We laughed. It felt comfortable. Perhaps too comfortable. We ordered another round of drinks, then another. The coffee meeting, ostensibly designed for a quick chat, stretched out. It turned into hours. Time simply slipped away from us, unnoticed and unheeded. The hours of our anniversary night vanishing into casual conversation with an ex. At some point, one of Alex's friends, a cheerful, outgoing type, joined our table. They were snapping photos, casually, with their phones, just capturing the moment. They then took a photo of all of us, a group selfie. Alex and I were positioned very close together in the frame, our heads tilted in companionable closeness. Both of us laughing genuinely. My arm was casually draped around his waist. It was just a casual picture, I told myself, trying to soothe a faint, distant tremor of unease. Nothing intimate, nothing suggestive. We were in a public place, surrounded by other people. It seemed utterly harmless, completely benign. I never, not for a single moment, imagined the devastating consequences that single digital image would unleash. Not then. Not as I sat there, bathed in the glow of city lights and the comfortable illusion of my own cleverness, completely oblivious to the impending storm. The laughter felt good. The freedom felt good. The lie felt safe. Mark must have seen the photo. It was painfully clear to me now, looking back with the cold clarity of hindsight. He followed that friend on social media. He would have been scrolling through his feed, perhaps casually, while winding down for the night. Or maybe he was even looking for a picture of us, of our anniversary celebration, eager to see a happy moment. And then he would have seen it. My face, clearly visible. My ex, Alex, right beside me, at a bustling rooftop bar. Both of us laughing, my arm casually draped around him, all of it happening on our anniversary night. The night I had supposedly been too tired for him. The night I had chosen to spend elsewhere. A stark, undeniable image of betrayal. There was no explanation from me beforehand. Not a single word. No warning text. No heads up about seeing Alex. No gentle preparation for a difficult conversation. Just that single image. A silent accusation. A visual betrayal. Stark and undeniable. The full, agonizing realization hit me much later. The quiet, terrifying way he handled it. He must have been utterly devastated. His world, his trust, his hopes for our evening, for our future, likely shattered in that instant. But he stayed completely calm. There was no explosive rage. He didn't send me an angry, accusatory text message. He didn't call me, demanding answers. He didn't confront me that night. Not even a single word. A chilling, powerful self-control that spoke volumes. He just went silent. A deep, heavy, terrifying silence. A void where his usual affectionate morning texts would be. The absence was deafening. I woke up the next morning feeling a little guilty. Yes, a faint unease, like a shadow lingering in the corners of my mind. A little tired, certainly, from the late night out. But mostly, I felt a strong sense of relief. My closure meeting was done, a box ticked, a task completed. I expected to face some mild annoyance from Mark, perhaps a small, easy-to-manage argument about cancelling our anniversary dinner. I was prepared for that, for a quick apology, a promise to make it up to him, a return to normal. But there was nothing. No anger, no loud questions, no emotional outburst, just a deep, unsettling quiet, a void, an emptiness that felt almost tangible in the air around me. I later discovered he had quietly cancelled the anniversary dinner reservation. I saw an email confirmation for the cancellation pop up on his laptop screen later that day. It was almost by accident. I was checking something unrelated. It simply stated, "Customer requested cancellation." No reason given. Just a cold, factual confirmation of what he had done. A decision made without my input, without my knowledge. A choice made in silent fury. Then, the true agonizing weight of his actions began to sink in. He didn't scream. He didn't accuse. He didn't make a scene. He didn't even give me a chance to lie. Instead, he made precise arrangements, calculated ones, deliberate. He booked a luxury hotel suite, a beautiful, opulent place, the kind of room with plush carpets, panoramic windows overlooking the city skyline, and gleaming modern furnishings. It was booked meticulously in his name, but clearly, distinctly, pointedly, not for me. The very idea of him alone in such a beautiful, elegant place, meticulously chosen, without me by his side, was a stark, agonizing contrast to my fabricated, quiet night in. My small deceptive act seemed impossibly petty in comparison. He must have made those plans immediately after seeing the picture, while I was still out with Alex, while I was laughing, believing I was clever, that I had somehow gotten away with something grand, that I had pulled off a flawless deception. The thought was sickening. It turned my stomach. Every detail of my deception and his silent, powerful, crushing response unfolded in my mind with brutal clarity. A cold, hard realization of what I had truly done. The depth of his silent pain, the extent of his quiet rage. It was a chilling revelation. The air around me seemed to grow colder, thinner, a suffocating chill. The next morning, consumed by a vague, growing guilt, a creeping unease, I made a clumsy, desperate attempt to make things right, to patch things up. I went to his apartment. I carried a fresh bouquet of roses, the very same kind he had sent me the day before, a bright splash of red against my pale dress. They felt like a heavy burden in my arms, a symbol of my belated apology. I clutched a heartfelt anniversary card. It was filled with sincere apologies for cancelling our dinner, and overflowing with eager promises for our shared future. I imagined his face softening as he read my hastily written words, his eventual forgiveness, our inevitable reconciliation, a return to our comfortable, predictable life, my life. But when I got to his apartment, it was eerily empty, silent, too clean. An unnatural quiet hung in the air, thick and oppressive. His coat wasn't on the usual hook by the door. His favorite worn shoes weren't neatly placed by the entrance. His well-used coffee mug wasn't in the sink. The familiar signs of his daily presence were gone. Erased. He was gone. Completely. Not just out, but gone. A deep, cold dread settled in my stomach. A terrifying emptiness bloomed in my chest. A premonition of loss. Later that morning, my phone buzzed. A single text message. It was from him. Not a call, no chance to hear his voice. No long, rambling explanation, just a short, sharp text. His words were precise and utterly, brutally devastating. Each character a dagger. "Hope you enjoy your closure," the message began. The words, chosen with chilling precision, cut deep. They twisted in my gut. A sudden, sharp pain. He knew. He had known all along. Every single detail of my deceit. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. The realization stole my breath. Then came the next line. The final, brutal blow. It landed with the force of a physical punch, disorienting. "I'll be getting mine tonight. With Bella from accounting." Bella. My breath hitched in my throat. A silent gasp that never quite made it out. Bella from accounting. Everyone in the office knew Bella. She was my boss's young, incredibly competent, and undeniably stunning assistant. Always perfectly dressed, her outfits impeccable. Always composed, her smile unwavering. Sweet, confident, and undeniably charming. The mere thought of them together, Mark and Bella, two people so important in my life, made my stomach churn violently. The casual picture of me and Alex at the bar, that seemingly harmless selfie, it had led directly to this, to Bella, to my own public undoing. My careful life, utterly shattered. The news spread like wildfire through the office. Whispers followed me everywhere. They clung to me like a suffocating shroud. Heads turned whenever I walked past. People avoided my eyes. Their glances held a mix of pity and judgment. I could feel their assessment, their silent condemnation. It was palpable. My phone buzzed constantly with worried messages from friends, asking what exactly had happened. Their curiosity veiled as concern. I could tell by their tone, by the hesitant phrasing of their questions. They had heard. They knew about Bella, and they knew about Alex. The office gossip machine was in full, relentless swing. My private life, once so carefully guarded, was now a very public spectacle, a humiliating display for all to see. My name became a punchline. Then, the ultimate blow, the crushing professional humiliation. My boss, a man known for his strict adherence to professionalism and discretion, found out, not just about the personal scandal, but specifically about Bella's connection to it. My perceived indiscretion, my casual dishonesty, had opened a door for her, a door that slammed shut on me. Bella was very quickly promoted to a new, much more visible role within the company. A higher desk, more responsibility, more power. A clear, undeniable step up the corporate ladder. While I felt my own reputation crumbling around me, my professional standing dissolving into nothingness, my career trajectory suddenly plummeting, I was utterly humiliated. Publicly, professionally, every single aspect of my life felt like it was unraveling, tearing apart at the seams, leaving me exposed and vulnerable. Mark never spoke to me again. Not directly. Not a single word. No calls, no texts, No attempts to reconcile. No pleas for explanation. He simply disappeared from my life. Completely. As if I had never existed. The silence from him was a constant heavy weight. It was worse than any angry argument could have been. It was the terrifying sound of a door slamming shut forever. An absolute final ending. A complete erasure. His presence, once so constant, now just an aching void. A few days later, the final, crushing blow arrived. A selfie popped up on my social media feed. It was posted by Bella herself. She was beaming, her smile bright and carefree, her eyes sparkling with genuine happiness. And standing right next to her was Alex, my ex. Both of them were smiling broadly. They were in what looked unmistakably like a luxurious hotel room. Plush bathrobes, soft, inviting lighting, champagne glasses raised high in their hands, toasting to something. They looked incredibly happy, utterly carefree, as if they had always belonged together. It was a picture of pure, unadulterated bliss. A perfect, painful tableau of what I had forfeited. It was the hotel suite Mark had booked. I knew it in my gut. The exact one. The opulent place meant for his closure with Bella. And Alex was there too. It was a cruel, perfectly executed twist. An ironic, devastating symmetry. My closure meeting with Alex, the one I had so carefully orchestrated, had led directly to his closure with Bella, and my own boyfriend's swift, brutal, and public revenge. A plan carried out with chilling precision, each detail designed to maximize my pain. I was left watching it all unfold from my couch, alone in my apartment. The television screen reflected my desolate face, my tired eyes. I was alone on the very anniversary I had so casually ruined, the day I had dismissed as insignificant. My phone, once filled with notifications and messages from friends and Mark, was now eerily silent, except for the occasional picture of them, smiling, laughing, living the life I had so carelessly thrown away, a life that could have been mine, a future I had obliterated. No one took my side, not my close friends, the people I had shared so much with, not my co-workers, the people I saw every day. They had seen the picture of me and Alex. They had heard every single detail about Bella. Their judgment was clear. Their sympathy was entirely gone. It had evaporated like mist on a sunny morning. I was completely isolated, alone in my regret. A deep, aching loneliness settled over me. It was a direct, inescapable result of my own choices. The heavy, unbearable cost of my deception. The bitter taste of my own self-engineered closure. It was a price I was now forced to pay. And it was far, far higher than I could have ever imagined. The silence of my empty apartment was a constant, stark reminder of everything I had lost. Everything I had carelessly discarded. And the deep, burning shame that now defined me. My reflection in the dark screen showed me only a hollow shell. The weight of my actions pressed down, crushing. There was no escape from the consequences, no turning back the clock. Just the lingering, bitter taste of absolute, profound regret.